Bill Daughtry back on New York Sports and Beyond, joined by a veteran of the U.S. Navy. He served in Operation Desert Storm. He's a native of upstate New York, Batavia, to be a little bit more exact. Mike Saformo joins me on the program. He is the CEO and founder of an organization called Operation Backbone. Mike, it is an honor to have you on the show, and we thank you in advance for your service.
Bill, the honor is mine, and I appreciate everything that you guys are doing, and it's a privilege and an honor to be on the radio. And I also want to say thanks for you guys taking some of your time off to highlight just great organizations, not just like Operation Backbone, but other things. So it's pretty cool what you guys are doing.
Well, tell me about Operation Backbone, because, I mean, and rightly so, we always talk about those who gave their lives for this great country, but then there are so many others who endured the battlefield, who endured the conflict and lived life afterwards, but some with some pretty painful conditions, and Operation Backbone is one of those organizations that tries to help folks out in that situation.
Well, Operation Backbone is a nonprofit. I started it about 4 years ago, and it's a nonprofit, and we do critical brain and spine surgery around the world for U.S. active duty soldiers and special forces soldiers and various select cases from the VA. So basically the way it works is we get calls and recommendations from SOCOM or MARSOC, the Pentagon, or the DOD, which is the Department of Defense. They'll call us. They'll say, can you take a look at these 15 or 20 guys? We'll go through it with our surgical team, brain and spine around the U.S. We can prioritize he or she depending on the severity. And then we go and put them in the backbone pipeline. And then we go and we start the long, lengthy, overwhelming, painful, mentally fatigued process just to figure out where to even begin with some of these guys, because the damage is sometimes so severe and unclear. Just trying to start from the beginning is trying to figure out where to start just to start. Does that make sense?
I was going to say, Mike, I mean, it doesn't sound like the goal is to get these men and women redeployed, but just to get them redeployed in life and help them deal with their injuries.
Well, it's twofold. The first one is we do and we have been able to get some of the guys redeployed, not back in their MOS, and the MOS is, in hockey terms, would be you're not going to be a goalie anymore, but maybe you can pass out the water, but you're still part of the team. But we are able to save not only their lives, their families, but their careers and keep them in the military. They're just not able to be the Navy SEAL or the pilot or the gun-ho Marine or Navy or sailor that they were before. But we can keep them in the fight, and to them, it's not just a career that we're saving, but it's the whole being of who they are and what they signed up for, and defending your country. And they don't want to get out; and they want to go back. And our goal is to try to get them back on the front line. And I don't mean on the front line in battle, but back defending their country in some way. And if that means you're a Navy SEAL, a chief, or you're an officer or an admiral, and you're used to being on the front lines in the battlefield, and now you're only handing out paper clips, then damn it, that's serving your country, and you finish it out, and it's a pretty proud career, and we're happy to be part of it.
And you inspire so many others just by your service on that level or on any level, because who knows, you might be inspiring the next great soldier or sailor in American history. Mike Saformo is my guest. He's a veteran of the U.S. Navy. He served in Operation Desert Storm. He is also the CEO and founder of Operation Backbone. And, Mike, I understand you guys have quite the connection with the Buffalo Sabres in the National Hockey League. Talk about that.
Well, I met Terry Pagula and the Buffalo Sabres probably about 2.5 years ago. And they supported us for about almost 2 complete years. And if it wasn't for Terry Pagula and the Buffalo Sabres, I wouldn't be here today. They opened up their entire organization. Terry went above and beyond what he had to do with the team, and so many others that played such a critical role through Operation Backbone. And I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to Terry and the entire organization, to the Buffalo Sabres. And I was proud to work with them. And it was such an honor to be it's from a little town called Corfu, which is by Buffalo. But to grow up and watch these guys on TV and then to really be partnered with them for so long, it's just such an honor and a privilege. And And I truly owe a tremendous debt to Terry and Kim Pagula and the Sabres, and they're just a great organization, and I was so proud to be part of them and work with them.
Now, talk, if you would, about your back injury that kind of sidelined you or reduced your job in terms of what you were doing in the U.S. Navy.
Well, let me be clear. When I started this, I hurt my back squatting. I was just working out. It is not a military injury, which is the real crux of this whole organization. When I was working out, I hurt my back pretty bad. And when I went and they used my, how do I put this? When I used my own insurance, I got a bill back from the emergency room, and I took it to the VA in Washington, D.C., and I asked them to be reimbursed for the $128. And they said, you can't do that. And I didn't understand, well, how do I get my money back? I'm a veteran. I served. I did my 4 years. I got out honorably. And they said, it's just not the way it works. There's nothing we can do. And I remember going home and complaining to my wife, Maria, who's the reason backbone's here is because of her. She wouldn't let me stop. She said, either stop the bitching and complaining or do something. So I said, fine, I'm going to just quit my job, and I'm going to change the way medicine is done around the world for the U.S. military. And it has been an eye-opening experience on every level, Bill. I am completely blown away and stunned. I had no idea the severity of some of the issues that so many people face. I was overwhelmed, and the stress of trying to figure this process out was incredible. And I'm thinking, I just got a little tiny back injury. What do you do if you're in Iowa and you don't have the money, you don't have the resources, and your wife is working full-time, and your husband is laying on the ground throwing up, or his back is broken, he's got a bolt stuck in his neck, or he just can't move, or just mentally shot to hell? What are you supposed to do? And the answer was, unfortunately, nothing. Take the medication, suck it up, and that's that. So I took the charge with my wife and said, we got to fix this some way, somehow. And that's the focal point of how Operation Backbone came into fruition. And it's just been an incredible experience. And you talk about, like you said, I inspire people. It's the opposite, Bill. I get so inspired by these soldiers who go for 8, 9, 10, 12 years, absolutely physically destroyed. And they come in with a smile on their face. And they want to help others. I mean, it's absolutely incredible to see what our military is, and the lives that put up with these guys is incredible. And I mean put up with it because we're talking everything from overloads of medication that you couldn't believe to physical abuse to mental abuse. And I say this respectfully because most of these guys, they take such powerful pills, they don't even know what's going on. And to be in that family dynamic is just, it was mind-boggling. It was like a movie, and the inspiration comes from the wives and the families that never quit. They don't stop, and they keep doing it not only for themselves but for their families and their husbands. And to that, I can't say enough for our military families and their wives, and it's just incredible.
So, Mike Saformo, for me, the next question would be, how do we reform the Veterans Administration? How do we get to fix, or how do we go about fixing all these things that are so wrong? Just from listening to the stories that you're telling about some of the people you've encountered, how do we fix this? How do we change this, or can we?
I don't believe it's fixable at this level, and I'll tell you the hard truth is you need the will of the American people. You need the right Congress, the Senate, and the right people in the White House in order to do it. And at this point, there are not it's just not a priority. It's horrible to say, but it's true. You're not going to find people at the VA that are specialists that have 15 or 20 years that are able to do triple discectomies and open cranial and have all the latest technology and software at their fingertips. It's just not equipped, nor was it designed for that. The VA performs a great function for certain types of procedures, but it is not designed for someone who has had their head bashed in, who has gone through the front windshield of a Humvee into a wall 40 miles an hour and has their neck broken in 5 spots, their lower back broken in 3, 2 bullet wounds in their back. It's just not designed for that. I don't have the answer. I wish I did. But you are talking about hundreds of thousands of people in the military that need help. The latest study was from the RAND Corporation, and they had over 400 100,000 soldiers, just that we know of, that need treatment for TBI, traumatic brain injury, or 100,000, just that we know of. Then you compound that with the guys from Vietnam. Then you compound that with the guys from the Gulf War, Iraq. Then you compound that with everybody else. It is absolutely staggering. And to fix it, you would need not just an overhaul. You have to start it from scratch, and you have to pay some of the best doctors in the world to come work there. And the reason they don't is because when these guys work, the specialists that we bring on board with Backbone, we do one thing. We bring the result. We're not interested in all the damn paperwork. I don't care what this guy says. I don't care what this bureaucracy says. We get it done. And that's the biggest problem is bureaucracy. And that is one of the hardest things to work with in the military and in the VA is trying to get these guys to understand that, and I mean the higher-ups to understand that this problem is just, the magnitude is just, it's just too much, Bill. It's just too much.
Mike Saformo is my guest. He is the CEO and founder of Operation Backbone, doing a heck of a lot more than just standing in the gap for what you don't get from the VA for veterans and for active duty servicemen. OperationBackbone.org is their website. Mike, I am imagining that you guys do take contributions, do you not?
We do. We are a registered 50c3, and you can go to OperationBackbone.com. And we would love to have your support. Also, I also wanted to mention that the owner of the Dallas Stars, Tom, he just came on board, and he's going to be a tremendous supporter with the Dallas Stars. Charlie Jacobs with the Boston Bruins, they're already on board with us, and we're working with a few other NHL teams to help us. And the reason I tell you this is because I look at Operation Backbone like hockey, like life, and everything is on the fly. And some days you just get smashed into the boards, and someday you're the goal scorer and you win the Stanley Cup. But most of the time, if you're not on your toes and you're not ready to get on the boards and you're not ready to work as a team, you get your head kicked in. And that's the way I see what life is. You got to work as a team, and that's what our military is. And that's what I love about hockey. It's fast-paced. You got to move. You got to make decisions. There's no time for gray area. You got to be motivated. And when you're dealing with people's lives, you're not interested in trying to sugarcoat it. And I'll tell you one thing. We had to fly down. We used one of the owner's private jets because a lot of these guys can't even stand. And we literally went down to his room in his house in Florida, and we dragged him, and I mean dragged him out. He's a Navy SEAL, and had to put him on this private jet. And it was just so devastating to see the amount of damage mentally and physically. And it's so severe for a lot of these guys that their plan for suicide has already been laid out. So you're talking about cases, you're talking about people every day that you drive by, every day that you see that you have absolutely no idea the pain and sacrifice that they have put on their life for America every day. To go to a hockey game and not worry about someone blowing up a stadium, to go to a hockey game and stand up and cheer and have popcorn and go home and see your family, and then you go see these guys face to face. It's just night and day, Bill, and it's such an honor and a privilege to have people like the Dallas Stars, people like the Boston Bruins and other teams that we're going to bring on to support us, and they get it, they understand it, they see it. And it's very awe-inspiring to be able to bring a soldier and meet a Pat LaFontaine, who's a tremendous guy. He's a Hall of Famer on the ice. He's a Hall of Famer off the ice.
Love Bugsy. I've known him for a lot of years. Also does some great work with his Lions Den Foundation. You mentioned Pat LaFontaine. You've got 3 hockey teams right here in the New York metropolitan area. Have they responded to the call?
Well, it's not even a call. I haven't even put a call out, Bill. What we're doing is we work 24 hours, 7 days a week trying to make this work and sharpen it and spearhead it. So what we're doing is we're just doing owner by owner to see what they're interested in doing. And the response has been overwhelming. It really has. But every person I have talked to in the NHL has been nothing but a positive, motivating individual. And I think eventually the entire league will come on board. And that's the direction that we want to go, is make this a military initiative. And I think it would be a tremendous, tremendous thing that everybody can see the real part of the military. And I say this in a respectful way. It's great to see somebody at a football game stand up and they cheer. But it's the guys that can't stand up that are sitting at home. Those are the guys that we work on and their families. It's the families that say, I can't have my family over at Christmas and have his family over because he thinks he's crazy or your uncle's nuts. If you were to see these guys at 25 years old, you can't have 36 confirmed kills and be 26 years old and come home normal. It's impossible. And that's the problem that we're dealing with. It is such an overwhelming mental issue that you have to try and drill down to. And that's just to find out what's wrong with them mentally. Then you got to even find out if there's something wrong with them physically. And then you got to figure out, all right, can we even fix it? And if we can't fix it, can we take your screaming pain from a 12 to maybe a 9? And that's the reality where we live in.
Well, what everyone under the sound of our voices can do is they can support Operation Backbone. I look at the webpage right now. It's operationbackbone.org. Hit the donate tab at the top. It'll take you to that page. You can make a one-time donation. You can make a monthly recurring donation. You can write a check. You can do something to help those who have sacrificed so much in our American Armed Services. Mike Formo, you get a well done and keep up the great work, sir. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Congratulations. Thanks, Bill. And when I'm in New York, I'm going to bring one of the guys by, and you can see him firsthand. It'd be pretty cool.
I'll hold you to it. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
And as we mentioned, you can do your part to help Operation Backbone, help American servicemen and women. Go to their website, operationbackbone.org. Click the donate button and find instructions on how you can help this great American initiative.